Joey Moss, Bad Boy Gaming. Welcome back. Hello, new faces. So we're going to talk about Zendikar Rising spoilers. Not only that, but Commander. Which there's some changes to how they're doing things with Commander. And we have two spoilers for you in Commander. Both are the commanders for those decks. Let's get into this. I think some of you may be disappointed with the news. But the spoilers are pretty sweet, though. And also we have a bunch of goodies. Let me tell you. Luminark. Aspirant. Go good with Conclave Mentor, but that's really about it. So, Luminark over here is a human cleric. It's a 2-drop, which I noticed there's a lot of 2-drops today we're going to talk about. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. That's cool because it's any like +1. It's any creature you have with the +1/+1 counter. That's also really slow. The only thing that would go good with this is a Conclave Mentor. You know, right now it's standard. Maybe, I'm sure a few other creatures as well, you know. But yeah, if one or more +1/+1 counters would be put on a creature you control, put that many +1/+1 counters on that creature instead. Which does help out a lot. You know, it can get there. So you'll just be kind of doubling, you know, you put 2 on it every time. It's, no, probably not competitive play whatsoever. I don't. It's a 1 body, guys, and it starts out as a 1 power. What do you want? Like, it's not that great, but it is cool. Definitely a bulky kind of card. Let's move forward. Oh my goodness, Leyline Tyrant. This thing's fun. It's a 4-drop flying. You don't lose unspent red mana as steps in phases end, which is really cool. So let's say you were to play like your Ironcrag Feet over here. That lasts all the way till the end of your turn, which is pretty legit. You don't have to spend it right then, you know. When a Leyline Tyrant dies, you may pay any amount of red mana. When you do, it deals that much damage to any target. It is a 4/4. So I'm thinking something along the lines of your Leyline Tyrant, your Ironcrag Feet, and your Fling. You sacrifice this thing, you deal, well, first you deal the damage. You can use Ironcrag Feet ahead if you want. You can use it later, whatever. But it's probably best because what if they do end up killing it, you know, mid-combat? You're going to want to use that Fling. It's going to be interesting to play these 3 cards together. But once you do, let's just say you get to attack. You swing on in, boom, you deal 4 damage. That's great. 4 damage gets right through. Then you play your Ironcrag Feet. Bam, you got 7 mana. You take your little Fling over here. You already did 4 damage. You take your Fling. That does cost 2. So 7 minus 2 is 5. There's going to be 5 damage left over that's going to roll into your opponent's face on top of the 4 damage that you're dealing. That's a good amount of damage. Yeah. Plus another 4. So you get 4 plus 4 plus 8. That's just a lot of damage, guys. It's going to really screw them up. But, I mean, I'm not saying this is the most reliable thing in the world. You need 3 cards, you know, to do that kind of shenanigans. But this could be a fairly decent card. The art on it is pretty legit also. And it's not legendary, which is cool. And it's a 4/4. And it's a 4-drop. This thing is cool. I don't know how competitive it's going to be, but why didn't they just give it haste? You know, give it haste, do all this crap, man, call it a day, you know? But, yeah, they did not. But it's neat that you could spend as much red mana as you want and just blast your opponent with it when this thing dies, you know? I like that. I like this card as a whole. I'm definitely going to make decks around it for sure. What other ideas you guys got for utilizing Tyrant, you know, in Standard right now at least? I'm sure outside of Standard there's a lot. We got Feed the Swarm and Canopy Ballast. I won't spend too much time on commons, but this Feed the Swarm is pretty good, actually. Destroy target creature, enchantment, and opponent controls. Black, destroying enchantments. That's legit. You lose life equal to that permanent's converted mana cost. That's a big downside. What if it has like an 8 converted mana cost? Well, that's going to hurt. You know, hope you're running life gain. But the fact that you can destroy a target creature or enchantment has to be an opponent's, of course. Can't be your own, so that kind of stings for some cards, you know. But that's great for just 2. Stipulation, you're going to take some pain, but it's flex. You got the enchantment or creature you can take out. And what if that creature's going to kill you unless you kill it, you know, kind of deal. Sweet. There you have it. if that's the point, if that's the problem, if you think the creature's going to kill you, you're probably going to die anyway. All right, and Canopy Ballast, 4-drop, landfall. Whenever land enters the battlefield under your control, Canopy Ballast gets +2/+2 until end of turn 4/3. I just like that. It's enchantment removal and destroy target creature for only 2. But yeah, it comes at a steep cost, which is your life. Magmatic Channeler. This one's fun. It's a 2-drop as long as... It's a human wizard, by the way. A lot of wizards in this one. As long as there are 4 or more instant and or sorcery cards in your graveyard. Magmatic Channeler. Gets +3/+1. So now you got a 4/4 in your hands, pal. This thing only costs 2. Not too bad. It's not going to be hard to do that. There's a lot of shenanigans that like stuff in the graveyard. For tap it, discard a card. Exile the top 2 cards of your library. Then choose one of them. You may play that card this turn. I think this is going to be one of the better, more sought-after cards in the set, in the rare slot anyway. Just a couple things you could do with it. You got your Royal Chaser, the Royale. Oh, you know what they call? You know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in Europe? Okay. And then we have a Rael the Everwise. It is a 3-drop. Yeah, these cards would play good with it because Everwise wants stuff in the graveyard, and then our friend over here likes the instant sorcery stuff. We can cast it, play it, have some fun with it, do all types of stuff with it. Yeah, making things X-less is pretty cool. So yeah, something like that. Also, you got your fairy. Was it the Fairy Wizard? That's a 1/1 flyer, and it has haste. It's a 2-drop in Izzet colors. Yeah, when that thing hits, you know, cool. Every time you play an instant sorcery, it's a +1/+1 counter. It's going to want stuff like that. Your prowess builds, things along those lines, you're going to see a Magmatic Channeler running amok in. Good card. Very cool card. Then we got Petrubation. I don't know. That just sounds dirty. Yeah, but basically, you can do the land. The land side, of course, enters tapped. That stinks. But you can create a blue mana. And then you can counter target spell unless the controller pays 1. Well, you can't do both. You can't, there's no end then. There's no end then. So it's either the first, you either play the land or you, you know, use this instant and counter something. But 1, that stinks. Let's be honest. Cool, like the first 3-4 turns, you know, maybe. But after that, you know, late game, turn 5, turn 6, there's a bunch of mana on the board. Guess what? I'm sure your opponent has 1 spirit mana. Especially if he knows you're running blue. And especially if he knows there's this card in the meta. I bet it'll come in handy. I'm sure it's going to see some play. But yeah, it's really just not that great. And it's 2 to cast. I don't know, fellas. I don't know. Here we go. We have our Boon Mole Ancestor. This is one of the leaked Commander cards. Yeah, I mean, it's so poorly... the image quality is so poor on this. I had to type it up. So, legendary creature, Elf Spirit. Elf Spirit, that's cool. At the beginning of combat on your turn, up to 1 target land you control becomes an XX elemental creature with trample and haste. I like that. That's cool. Until end of turn. Where X is Boon's power, it's still a land. Okay. Landfall, whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. This is also playable in Standard. Yeah, so there you have it. I believe so, right? Isn't this playable in Standard? Probably not. I'm going to tell you some downsides about some things here. But first, I just want to mention, Wizards has not really been too unique with the commanders over the past few years, you know. And there's been a lot of really powerful commanders, but like in a shell, you know, like they got their own little engine tuned into them, you know. So that's probably why this card seems a little weak to most. All we see is the +1/+1 counters on these commander cards. And we also like create an XX, do this. What else is there? Some kind of anthem effect, you know, or card draw. That seems to be the going rate with commanders over the past few years. Cool, but Wizards, can we maybe do something different? Can we get something a little more unique, you know? Like thinking outside the box. I mean, I get there's only so much you can do with the game, but it'd be pretty neat if they would just mix things up, you know. Try something different. Let's see where that takes us, you know. Here's the packaging, which is pretty cool. That elf looks legit. This is Commander Talons Wrath. Yeah, that's not playable in Standard. Don't be stupid your whole life, guys. It'd have to be Brawl. But that's pretty cool. Legendary Foil 1. Now, I'm going to tell you some downside. They're not doing like 5 or 6 or 4 even, or even 3 Commander decks. They're only doing 2. Only doing 2, and these are going to be like Brawl size kind of things. Not Brawl size exactly, but the box is going to be how the Brawl Commander decks were distributed, you know, on the shelf. So smaller packaging. That's what she said. Yeah, only 2, and there's only going to be, usually there's like 17 new cards. There's only a total of 6, 3 in each. There's only going to be 2 different Commander decks. Here's the other one. Enowan, the Ruin Thief. And why are they doing this, you ask? Oh, I'll tell you why. Because it's for newer players. They want to get new people involved in Magic, and that's cool. So they kind of simplified things. They didn't put all this crazy text on it that people are like, what the heck does that even mean? You know, and like they're like just turned off by Magic, so they're keeping it really basic. So this is a 4-drop. Oh, look, an Anthem effect. Other rogues you control get +1/+1. Whenever one or more rogues you control deal damage to a player, that player mills a card for each 1 damage dealt to them. Cool. If the player mills at least 1 creature card this way, you draw a card. Card draw, +1/+1 counters, Anthem effect. Okay, we got it all right there in 2 cards. Pretty cool. So it's on a 2/4 body, which is nice because it gets a little perk off that. Too bad it couldn't give itself an Anthem effect. Like, if you're that strong, you can make all your other little... No, I guess it makes sense. Never mind. All right. Thoughts on this one? I guess it's cool because you're giving other rogues +1/+1, and we're getting some new rogues in this set. And then whenever more rogues you control deal combat damage to a player, that player gets to mill a card. You get to draw some cards for each 1 damage dealt to them. If the player mills at least 1 creature card, well, you have to. Okay, so you can only maximum draw is 1 card per turn. So kind of weak sauce there. But as far as, I don't know, I think it's all right. I don't think it's amazing. You know, I also don't play a lot of Commander, so I really want to hear from my fans out there who play EDH and Commander. What do you guys think of this new boy? Do you like? Moving along, there's the packaging. It is called Sneak Attack. Unbelievable. And it's not red. Haru, hare, hara. Okay. Next, we have Scorchwriter and Dauntless Unity. That's right. Human Warrior, kicker for 2. When Scorchwriter enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, it gains haste until end of turn. There's worse things out there, I'm sure. Your limited play. Dauntless Unity, 2-drop, kicker for 2. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. If this spell was kicked, those creatures get +2/+1 until end of turn. That's not bad. So you kick it, and they get bigger. I kind of like it. I think it's all right. Not the best card in the world, but, you know, if you're going really wide, that could come in handy. Baller on a budget. Then we have Black Bloom Bog and Rogue here. Enters tapped, black mana. And then we have the human rogue side, Menace. So this creature can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. Rogue gets +3/+0 as long as an opponent has 8 or more cards in their graveyard. Isn't that the going rate, huh? It's a deuce 3 body, 3-drop. It's okay. I think the art's pretty cool. I want to see the better images, you know, after spoiler season and stuff. Looks like a cool card. Cool art on that. All right, it is what it is. They're really going for that. Opponent has to have 8 cards in graveyard, you know, kind of trigger thing. We'll see how it pans out. It's not that hard to do. Then we have Scale the Heights, which is kind of similar to Growth Spiral. Of course, Growth Spiral is better. It's so good it was banned. 3-drop over here, Scale the Heights. It's also not an instant like Growth Spiral. Put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature. Cool. You gain 2 life. That's something. And then you may play an additional land this turn. Cool. And you get to draw a card. So not bad. It's kind of like if Uro and Growth Spiral had a baby, out popped Scale the Heights. You know, that's really what's happening here. And mama. So interesting card. Is it going to see a lot of play in Standard? I mean, with Growth Spiral not being an option, especially with rotation coming, but it's also banned. I think Scale the Heights has a chance. I don't see why not. I think it has more than a chance. The only the downside, guys, it's a sorcery. If it said instant on it, yeah, I could definitely see this getting a lot more play. But man, sorcery really takes away from it because usually you can, keep up mana, make your opponent, you can bluff out your opponent, make them think you got a counter or something. Then comes the end of their turn, and then boom, you got the instant. You can play, your growth spiral and continue on, stuff like that. With Scale the Heights, you can't do that, so it's a big downside, to the card. But overall, not bad, and plus it's an extra mana. Yeah, it's okay. We'll see what it does. Then we have Canopy, Ballast, and Dreadworm. That's right. Yeah, landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, Dreadworm gains indestructible until end of turn. It's 5/4 for 5. So yeah, limited, great. Canopy, Ballast, 4-drop. I think we already covered this one. Land enters the battlefield under your control. Canopy, Ballast gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Legit. Shadow Stinger and Spring Mantle Cleric. I like the art on that Spring Mantle, though. First Shadow over here. It's a 3-drop. Tap another untapped rogue you control. Shadow Stinger gains Death Touch until end of turn. Whenever Shadow Stinger deals combat damage to a player, that player mills 3 cards. I could see like in a... yeah, it's a 1/4. It's a big body and it can do 1 damage. This is like an upgrade to some other stuff, It's like a big wall, but like it can actually hurt you. Like it's got like some swords on the wall, kind of thing. It can attack you too, and it's a big perk. And that person mills 3 if it ends up dealing some damage. Not bad. The indestructible thing is even better, but you got to tap another untapped rogue. I guess that's not the worst thing. Maybe we can get some rogue token kind of spreader outers, Is there a rogue? I don't think there's a rogue token generator right now in standard. If so, that'd be pretty cool. I don't think there is one. That'd be nice, something, something, something. Put a 1/1 rogue creature token on the battlefield. Something, something, whatever. Would be pretty neat. But yeah, milling your opponent for 3 cards. It's not the worst thing. It's solid. I mean, it could be really good, and we'll see what happens. Spring Mantle Cleric, 5-drop. Spring Mantle Cleric enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each color of mana spent to cast it. So I mean, ultimately, if you had every color of magic, all 5, then you can put 5 +1/+1 counters on this thing. That's not too bad. So just think about it like that. But you're probably not going to want to play this anyway in that kind of build. Maybe no. No, this card's not going to see any play. It is an elf though and a cleric, so probably not. But maybe. All right, then we have Bon Appetit. It's Skyclave loot, guys. Sorcery, this one's pretty cool. Look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of creatures that make up your party. +3. Add 3 cards from your library to your hand and shuffle the rest into your library. I love it. Would be better, of course, if it was instant. It is 5 to cast, but man, you are really going to gain some card advantage out of that, my friends, and know what's going on the top of the library. Yeah, 5-drop control builds, absolutely, man, really cool. X number of creatures, yeah, that's a lot. Add 3 cards from your wow, yeah, that's pretty good. Not gonna lie. I mean, you're really fixing things. But there's already a card. Well, you're getting 3 out of this one. The other one's 2. It's a 4-drop. I can't think off the top of my mind. But you look at the top 7 cards, and you can put 2 of them into your hand, and the rest in the library, or shuffle them up in the library. I don't know. I mean, it's a nerfed version of that, in more words or less. So, we'll see what it does. I don't think that card's rotating out anytime soon either, so interesting. Okay, that's Zendikar Rising spoilers for today. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't hit the like button. Why would you want to do that? Woo! Appreciate you guys tuning in so much. Joey Moss with Bad Boy Gaming. Punch that like button in the mouth if you enjoyed this video, and check out these other videos. Skidink, skidink. I will talk to you soon. Skadoosh.